Hope you're all having a great weekend. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. By the time that you're watching this, if you're waiting for a Niners game on Sunday, it ain't happening. San Francisco on the bye week, but the coverage does not stop. And we talk Niners every single day year-round here on this show. So today, we're taking questions from the faithful during the Niners bye week for a Q&A. Let's begin here, though. Let me ask you this. Do you love the Niners? Do you want elite Niners coverage every single day year-round? If you do, I want you to hit that sub button. And thanks to all of the real ones for getting us past 182,000 subscribers. Let's continue to grow the platform here on the program. Bill Kennedy gets us started with a $2 super chat. Believe it or not, I'm worried about the Tennessee Titans. So coming out of that aforementioned bye week, the Niners play host to the Tennessee Titans. They're already nearly 2 touchdown favorites in this game. And Bill, I understand why you might be a little bit concerned. Tennessee has played in some close games, but it's more like they've played in close halves against some contending teams this year. And then once that second half comes around, they just don't have the depth or the talent to stick with these teams. Due to the Niners coaching, due to the Niners coming off the bye, and considering the final 3 games that they have after Tennessee, you might be concerned as this could be a trap spot for San Francisco because they're looking ahead. They know at 9-4 with how close things are in the NFC, they can't look past Tennessee. Plus, with that bye week, like their whole focus has been on Tennessee. I think when you have that bye week, you get away, you heal up, mentally, physically, spiritually, you recharge a little bit, but then you focus on that opponent coming out of the bye because the Niners have that extra week. Lyle, longtime supporter of this show, good to hear from you. Chase, are there any free agent defensive ends out there that the Niners could bring in? Glad to see you guys again. Good to see you again as well. And I think the crop at defensive end is really thin. You think about one of the moves that the Niners made to bulk up their defensive line at defensive end and to enhance their pass rush, it was Clelin Ferrell. They added Clelin Ferrell off the scrap heap to the practice squad, and he has 4 sacks for the Niners. He's playing arguably the best ball of his career, and so that was one of the good players who was actually available. Let me also look at some currently available defensive ends who are available right now, and I'm telling you right now, the crop is not going to be great. Let me see here. Okay. You've got DeMarcus Walker, John Kaminsky, Jerry Hughes, Shaq Barrett, who's old, Carl Lawson, Janarius Robinson, Alex Barrett, who the Niners obviously know. That's really it, man. Not a lot of players out there who can make that big of a difference. That's why I wanted to see San Francisco, Lyle, make a move at the deadline. Ali, are the Niners more incentivized to trade Mac Jones following the Brandon Aiyuk saga and a possible need to draft a wide receiver in the early rounds? All right, let's tackle the Mac Jones portion of this first. It really comes down to which quarterbacks declare for the NFL draft. Will Dante Moore come out of Oregon? Will Ty Simpson declare for the NFL draft and leave Alabama? Those players could go back. So that then makes the quarterback class thinner, which then leads to the quarterback class not being as deep and teams needing to acquire a quarterback who's already in the NFL if they have quarterback question marks. You don't know if an Aaron Rodgers is going to retire or return to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so I'm waiting to see did Dante Moore and Ty Simpson go back to school. Those are 2 of the top quarterbacks in this class, in addition to a guy like Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana, who might be the number 1 quarterback on a lot of people's big boards. But if those quarterbacks go back to school, the Niners might be able to get a 2nd-round pick and a 4th for Mac Jones. And the team that I think makes a lot of sense, the Minnesota Vikings. They put all of their eggs in the J.J. McCarthy basket. They let Sam Darnold walk. J.J. McCarthy, I'm not going to say he looks like a bust because we've seen Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield Mac Jones saved their careers. But right now, he is not ready. And so the Vikings roster is built to win and compete right now. So they might look at Mac Jones as a player who they really want and a player who would be a really good scheme fit. And for San Francisco, it comes down to one of two avenues. Do you value quarterback security or do you want draft picks? If you want draft picks, get a second and a fourth for Mac Jones. It helps you build this football team. But then who's going to be the backup behind Brock Purdy, who got hurt in 2022, hurt in 2024, hurt in 2025? He's a smaller quarterback. You don't know how he's going to hold up. And if it weren't for Mac Jones this year, who went 5-3, throwing to Kendrick Bourne as his number one wideout, the Niners wouldn't be 9-4 right now. They wouldn't be in the playoff hunt. And next year, he's under contract for less than $5 million. Incredible value. So we'll see. It's going to be a very fascinating storyline this offseason. Great question right there. As far as Brandon Aiyuk goes, I think he's played his last game as a Niner, and I think the Niners are going to release him. I don't think they have any trade value for him because no team is going to want to trade for a player, give up picks, have to pay that contract for a player who, personality-wise, they don't know who they're getting, and health-wise, they don't know who they're getting because I don't think he plays this season. So no team is going to know how he looks coming off an ACL, MCL, and meniscus tear. Whereas if the Niners release him, they can sign him, that other team, to an incentive-laden contract for much cheaper than $30 million per season. Come undone. Are we going to sign Laken Tomlinson? So I started off the show saying, hope everybody out there is having a great weekend. I'm recording the show during the live show on Thursday. But for the days where we're not in the studio, we do a couple of segments during the live show to play on the weekend for everybody who wants great content here on the show. So as of right now, Laken Tomlinson has not signed with a team, and he is not signed with the 49ers. I would think about making this move. And it's not like I would sign Laken Tomlinson to start for this team. No, I'd still go with Spencer Burford at left guard. I would sign Tomlinson as a depth piece and as a backup behind Spencer Burford because in case he got hurt, and Burford's played pretty well this year, he's given up, I think, 1 hit and 10 pressures all year long and 1 or 0 sacks. He's played well. But if he were to go down, what do you go back to? Connor Colby, the rookie. And to start the year, Connor Colby was getting a lot of time, and he wasn't good. And the Niners are 9-4 right now. You've got an opportunity in a wide-open NFC to do something fun this year. And so I know that Tomlinson hasn't played well with the Jets when he left the Niners after 2021 and got a bag, hasn't played well with the Seahawks, didn't play well for the Texans this year. And the Texans have a bad offensive line, and they still released him. But kind of like Clelin Ferrell. Clelin Ferrell, anywhere else he's gone, hasn't played well. With the Niners, he does play well. And Tomlinson, with Detroit prior to San Francisco, didn't play well. Jets, Seahawks, Texans, not playing well. With the Niners, he has played well. Knows the scheme. Niners need offensive guard depth. I don't want to go back to Connor Colby because I don't think he's ready yet. And he'd be a cheap veteran. So I would definitely think about making that move if I were the Niners as of this Thursday, December 4th. Let's get to our sponsor for our mailbag. Today's San Francisco 49ers report brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Look, it's the holiday season. Best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right, and that place is PrizePicks. Join the millions of users. Sign up today. You can get your picks in less than 60 seconds. I know you all know ball. I want you to show me. Turn your takes into cash with PrizePicks. Available all across the country. And it makes game day so much more fun. Here's our 3-pick power play. James Cook, more on the rushing yards. Joe Burrow, more on the passing yards. And then Emeka Egbuka, more on the receiving yards. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code CLNS. Again, get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Joji tuned in from Japan. Konnichiwa. Will Eric Kendricks play against the Tennessee Titans? I think that he will. Now, the Niners signed him going into that Cleveland game, and I wasn't sure. Shoot. Curtis Robinson had struggled a little bit. Congrats to Curtis Robinson, Walter Payton, Man of the Year nominee for the Niners. But against Carolina, targeted 3 times, gave up 3 catches, and was the lowest graded player for the Niners on defense. And I'm like, are the Niners going to start Eric Kendricks? A little bit rich for him to start shortly after signing. And so I like how the Niners have approached this, right? They signed him. He was able to see what the Niners did in game action against Cleveland. Then got that bye week, another week to learn the scheme. And then in the lead up to Tennessee, yet another week to prepare. So I think he's definitely going to play against the Tennessee Titans. I don't think you make a move for a guy like that who's been in the league for 10 years, who has 9 straight years of 100-plus tackles, and then you don't play him. I think that is the option for San Francisco the rest of the way. Johnny Royal, another loyal viewer of the show. Royal, loyal. I would love to see more 2-back sets with Christian McCaffrey and Brian Robinson. I think Brian Robinson is severely underused. I agree, and Christian McCaffrey by far has the most touches in the NFL. And it's so funny how the Niners are like, we need to save Christian McCaffrey from Christian McCaffrey. He loves playing football. Kyle Shanahan says that all the time. It's like, Kyle, you are the head coach. You can decide to give him a rest and give Brian Robinson some more carries. When Brian Robinson has gotten carries, I think he's been really good. I would like to see the Niners bring him back if he doesn't get paid a lump sum from another team after this year, because Isaac Rendo can never stay healthy, and then Jordan James can be your RB3. But Christian McCaffrey, my gosh, thankfully he's been able to stay healthy, but the workload has been incredible for him as a receiver and running back this year. So I would like to see him take some time off, but he's also such a special player who impacts the game so much. Now, can you use him as a decoy and give some handoffs to Brian Robinson? I'd love to see more of that. But we haven't seen a lot of that. Plus, keep in mind, Niners like to go a lot of 2 tight end sets. They like to utilize Kyle Juszczyk a lot, and so that takes away from the opportunities to go Brian Robinson because you don't want to go too heavy with your personnel. Tony Two-Tone, is Christian Wilkins a free agent? No. Despite him dealing with all those injuries with Green Bay, he actually signed a contract extension with the Packers. I think it was worth like $15 million per year and probably very incentive-laden. Oh, shoot, Christian Watson. Yes, that's Christian Wilkins. My gosh, I haven't heard that name in a while. Christian Wilkins, the defensive tackle. Good call by Chip. Before I went on a tangent there, talking about the wrong player. Christian Wilkins is a free agent. Yes, he is. Good player coming out of Clemson. Really good player from Miami. Got that bag from the Raiders. It blew up in their faces. He didn't even last 2 years. And why he was let go by the Raiders, a couple of reasons. One of the big reasons, the Raiders wanted him to get another surgery on his foot. Christian Wilkins didn't want to get that other surgery on his foot. And so they had disagreements between their medical staff and Wilkins and his representation. The other thing with Wilkins was that he was doing some weird stuff in the locker room with teammates that was rubbing people the wrong way. Getting a little bit touchy-touchy. Now, we've got some sources here at Chat Sports, and we've learned some good information on that. That's about what I can say on that, because it hasn't been proven true. But there are some locker room concerns with Christian Wilkins. That, plus the injury, plus him being 330 pounds dealing with foot injuries, not a guy I'd like to bring in. Impacts your culture. When he does what he's done, obviously that makes the rounds across the NFL. Players would be like turning their heads, especially for a cultural place that's so firm like the Niners locker room. And plus the injury concerns with all of the injury problems that the Niners have had. Can't do it. Doc Broadwater, could you do an offensive line draft? Who would you take and where? So already up on the channel for all of you to see, we took a look at some Niners draft targets based upon Mel Kiper's top 25 big board. And there are a couple of offensive linemen who we talked about on that show. Spencer Fano is one of them. The tackle out of Utah, 6'6", 308, 11 starts, no sacks allowed this year. And he's a player who can play right tackle and left tackle. If you want to go interior, Vega Giovanni is a really good player out of Penn State, 6'4", 328. He's a left guard. Niners don't have a future left guard right now. 10 starts, 0 sacks allowed. He's been excellent, really, ever since 2023. And so those are some offensive linemen who kind of come to mind for me as far as guys who I would love to see the Niners target. The 49er guy, is Jacob Cowing coming back to practice, and will he be playing against the Titans? So the expectation over the last few weeks was that coming out of the bye week, the Niners were going to open up his practice window. And it's unfortunate what's happened to him. He had a great spring and a really good mini camp, and then injured his hamstring right at the start of training camp, running routes against air. And every time he would try to come back, he kept re-injuring the hamstring. There were like 3 occasions where he re-injured his hammy. And that's now 2 years where the Niners have gotten nothing out of Jacob Cowing, who was a really good college player. Transferred to Arizona, increase in competition, balled out. Now he's smaller, but he's shifty, gadget guy. He can take the top off of the defense. And I was looking forward to seeing a faster Niners offense with Jordan Watkins and Jacob Cowing, Ricky Pearsall. But the Niners have had so many injuries at that spot this year. Greg Smith, hi Chase. Any good wide receivers in the draft? My gosh, there are some excellent wide receivers in the draft. This is a very deep wide receiver class, especially in this first round. Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State, the Colorado transfer, 61 grabs, 711 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. Carnell Tate, even taller, 6'3", little lighter, 195. 44 catches for 793 yards and 8 tuds, averaging over 18 yards per catch. Mekhi Lemon, Nick Saban said he's the best player he's seen this year in college football. More of a slot guy, but reminds me a lot of Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's primarily a slot guy and is leading all wide receivers in receiving yards. 79 grabs this year for USC, 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns. So those are only 3. A lot of good wide receivers, Greg. Wolf Godmack, do you think that Fred Warner may come back if we make it to the NFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl? Man, I'd be surprised. Like last week, he was doing some running on the underwater treadmill, which is obviously non-weight bearing. He just, I believe, shed the boot. And so the Super Bowl is in about 2 months. Now, you would probably have to keep him from playing in that game, and it's not like you'd run the risk of him, like, re-tearing something because it was a broken and dislocated ankle, but I would be highly surprised if he played in an NFC Championship game or in a Super Bowl. But we'll see. I wouldn't put anything past All-Pro Fred. He's been an Ironman. Up until that injury, had missed 1 game in his career after he was drafted in 2018. Hey, this is why you subscribe to the channel. We're doing all types of content. Draft talk, in-season talk, postseason talk, after the season talk. We keep it humming here on the show. Hit that sub button.